Hello. Okay, that's working. That's good. I had to push the talk key this entire time. Wow. Testing, testing. Suppose you guys can hear me well. Okay, that's good. And welcome, Kevin Durham. Well, Google, you're going to get quite a good opportunity to see what has changed in 2.13. Considering I'm going to be playing through a full scenario. Granted, it's going to be a custom scenario using a custom faction, but the underlying mechanics are pretty much the same. And between the East Germans and the Soviets, it's just going to be the same mostly. We'll wait and see if anyone else shows up, and then I'll get this rolling. So, uh, as with the last stream, I'm going to be periodically closing out the game and restarting it as the lag issue I've had for so long has not gone away. No one else has reported this issue, meaning it is something wrong on my end. I don't know if it's just a really old CPU or motherboard or something, but it's definitely on my end. I don't know what's going on. Nonetheless, I can still typically go through about 3, 4, 6, maybe turns before the thing starts slowing down, so we shouldn't have too many interruptions during the gameplay. Oh, that's the editor. We don't want to be in there. I want to go into scenario or campaign. Single scenario, computer opponent. We will be playing as the Warsaw Pact. So here's the rules we're ruling with. We will not have limited staff on. Line of sight checks we will allow, but everything else is gone. Especially this one. I don't like this rule. So let's just fill up the screen with this briefing here. Neither am I, Darwin. I didn't even have it from the start either. It kind of came in around the 2.10 update, if I recall. Yeah, I still have no idea what causes it, because nothing I try seems to fix it. Even reinstalling the game and reverting back to old versions does not do anything. So, something in my computer might be causing it. I'm not exactly sure. Something to do with Intel or whatever. In about 3 minutes, we'll get this rolling. I don't think we're going to have much of a audience either way, because I did not give much of any warning at all for the stream. Danielle announced about a day in advance. About 1 minute. Okay. So, welcome to Flashpoint Campaigns Red Storm. That is too loud. So, welcome to Flashpoint Campaigns Red Storm. That is too loud. This stream will cover CEG 1 Shootback, a custom scenario I created for Flashpoint Campaigns, which is a remake of a 4-part campaign I did about maybe 2 years ago. This campaign featured a custom faction I also developed for Flashpoint Campaigns, the East German faction, who are not in the base game, as only the Soviet Union is available for the Warsaw Pact. So about 2 years ago, after I, let's say, couldn't have been about 3 months ago, I decided to remake everything. As I looked back at these old maps, I realized that my visual style of mapping had changed dramatically, as had my knowledge of map terrain. The biggest factor in this was that I started learning how to use the QGIS map create. Well, I guess Yeah, I'd say it's a map creator of some sort, but it really uses satellite data and many other kinds of information to get you an accurate picture of what the terrain on the ground looks like, instead of just taking a look at satellite photos and Google terrain and whatnot and trying to guess from there. So we'll start right away with the description, the briefing, and then we'll get the game rolling. This is set on the second day of the war at 5 in the morning. Just after dawn break, so that enables the East German aircraft, which are not all weather capable, to support us throughout the early phases of the mission. And as always, participation in the chat room anywhere is encouraged and welcome. The Soviet assault came as a bolt from the blue for NATO. Dawn broke into the second day, and yet most of the men on the ground still had no idea what was happening. Reports of incursions were just as quickly dismissed as rumors. Explosions, gas attacks, airstrikes dotted the landscape at random, and in the chaos, the only thing that was certain was that they were at war. War again. A front comprises an air army, 2 combined arms armies, a tank army, an independent tank brigade, 2 rocket brigades, and an artillery division. The United States, Jesus. The Soviet Union can form 2 fronts in Germany and 1 in Czechoslovakia. The direct counterpart to Northag is the 1st German front, which is missing only 1 ingredient to complete itself, the 5th Nationale Volksarmee. The 5th NVA has been mobilizing in secret over the last 3 days, bringing itself to full strength before pouring over the Elbe and into the West along with their Soviet masters. Their mission is to support the 2nd Guards Tank Army and draw away NATO units from the 3rd Combined Arms Army's future route of advance. To do this, they must aggressively pursue capture of vital territories and drive a wedge into Northag. First up to bat is the Bundeswehr's 9th Panzer Brigade. This is an elite unit in its own right, and the most modern equipment they can get, with superb training as well. The latter are commonly seen as demonstrating at various exercises where they practice combat operations and gunnery, shooting at harmless targets. Now we will see how they will perform when the targets shoot back. 9th Panzer Division is the elite striking force of the Volksarmee. Their mission is to exploit the breach created by the Army's Moltschützen divisions and destroy NATO forces behind the lines. You will command this division and its regiments over 4 challenging missions where your division faces superior numbers of enemies with superior equipment and tactics. Only the training of your men and the skill of your command can pull you to victory and liberate Western-occupied Germany in the campaign Bruder gegen Bruder. Viel Glück, Genosse General. And as for the briefing. The die is cast, and now we march to burn down the Hall of the Gods. Kameraden, the hour is finally upon us. Today we begin the long journey to crush the capitalist war machine and free our brothers from the Anglo-American invaders. Commander, your Panzertruppen stand ready. The Army's motoristische Schützen divisions are fully engaged, and it is up to the 9th Panzer Division to exploit the gap. Your first objective has been identified, Flashpoint Air Base. Command wants this airbase as a future staging area for a new elite combat helicopter unit that will support us throughout the rest of our journey. The local road net here is anemic, but we owe much to our comrades in the 20 Motoristische Schützen Division for holding Lüneburg open for us. For now, we must secure B71 and force a path towards the Autobahn 7. To do that, we must also clear Münster, where an enemy brigade element is likely operating from. This force must be defeated in order to secure the road and Flashpoint. The intelligence reports. Ground radar shows that the enemy is close. We are to expect imminent contact. The enemy force here is also number 9, Panzerlehr Brigade 9. Make no mistake, these men are contract killers and mercenaries. They are enemies of socialism and traitors to Germany. Show no mercy to these tools of the bourgeois. However, these scum are very well trained and even better equipped. If what we saw was any indication, their panzers are nearly invulnerable from the front. These fascists will be very aggressive with their newfound superiority. Expect heavy counterattacks for every meter of ground you take. In addition, you should be concerned with the unusually large radar traffic here. The enemy likely has a large-scale air defense network here. Exercise caution with your aircraft. Fortunately, we're not expecting much hostile aircraft. Much of their air forces were destroyed on the ground in the surprise assault, and our own air defenses are keeping their remaining fighters at bay. Division Recon and Panzerregiment 21 make up your spearhead. These are the beste, our finest panzers. They are powerful, but do not be careless. Our men are no use to us dead. SC-22s from JVD 77 2nd Squadron will support us here. They are the hammers to your panzer's anvil. Deploy them against enemy tank concentrations, but watch out for enemy air defenses. The rest of the division is behind us, but due to traffic problems and other delays, they are too far back to support us in this fight. Panzerregiment 21 should be enough to support you, considering your exceptional command abilities. And below we have some tips for players who might not be used to this style of gameplay. Artillery can perform SEAD as well. Any identified positions become priority targets, and you will see me constantly keeping my artillery forward in order to hit these positions. We must focus on the objectives, as in a straight-up fight, well, T-72s don't really do well against Leopard 2s. So if we just go for a kill slugfest, we won't do very well. We may also be forced into a defensive posture, as the enemy does again have technical superiority on the ground. It would be nearly suicidal for us to try to insult the enemy head-on. Speed is crucial for us to get into the best positions first. And finally, concentrating our firepower and claiming a portion of the map is usually better than trying to go for everything at once. If we're too spread out, then we'll just get picked apart one at one by their superior Leopard tanks. So overall, the summary of our active assets is inaccurate. A lot of these units do not come in into the very last hour of the mission. Instead, we only have Panzerregiment 21. These are veteran units, meaning they will perform much better in combat than their Soviet counterparts. At least skill-wise, but on a technical issue, the T-72M1 is pretty much equivalent to a T-72A. So what we have in skill, we make up for in, well, a total lack of good equipment. Each battalion has an air defense unit assigned to it, even if we are not going to encounter any enemy aircraft. Finally, let's look at the regimental artillery group. We have 3 batteries of 2S1 and 1 battery of 2S3. Now let's look at our air support. Looks like we'll have 4 sections of aircraft on call for a total of 2 flights. These are the SC-22s from, I believe that is Jagdbombergeschwader 77. We'll have to look at these units themselves to check their loadouts. Or I guess I'll have to look at the Soviet inspector. So first up to bat, we have Geisel. This is our first section, and as we can see, they're loaded with about 6 RBK 500 cluster bombs. These are very powerful weapons against tank formations and should be deployed against them as such. We've got electronic countermeasures, radar warning receiver, and defensive countermeasures. This will help somewhat to evade enemy fire, but for the most part, I do believe that the Bundeswehr have the best shore-out assets of any NATO nation, which will make them difficult to deal with if we do not first suppress their air defenses. It's very common to see, for example, a Gepard battery just annihilate an entire flight of SC-22s without them accomplishing anything. Second up is Schwert. There are 2 500 kilogram gravity bombs, and finally about 4 rocket pods of S-80, or S-8 OFP-2, which is the HE frag variant of that rocket. We have Vagaflight, which has 4 AS-12 Keglers. These will make up our... This is our CEG aircraft right here. So we use these guys against enemy radar sites and enemy air defenses that carry radars. Finally, Zense is our level bomber section, because they will fly at a higher altitude rather than close to the ground and deliver a significant payload. These aircraft carry 20 250 kilogram bombs each, thanks to their multiple ejection racks, which they can carry up to 4 bombs on a pylon. We're going to start deploying our battalions after we finish this. So, as the intel has indicated, there's a significant enemy presence all over the map. We can expect to counter them pretty much anywhere we go into the west. They may have up to 70 tanks, up to 70 armored personnel carriers, up to 50 infantry, 20 self-propelled anti-tank units, 40 headquarters, 30 air defense units, which is a lot for a brigade element, 40 self-propelled artillery, and 50 utility. So what does this tell us? We'll have a strong combined arms force up against us, but they have more tanks than infantry, that's for sure. They will have a self-propelled anti-tank company, considering it's 10 to 20. And typically an anti-tank company will consist of about 12 launchers. That's a significant air defense presence. We're going to need to focus very hard on our CEG capabilities. The air defenses are well developed here, and if we throw our aircraft recklessly into the fray, we're going to lose them. There's a significant enemy artillery presence. Counter battery is a high priority, and that includes using our aircraft to find and eradicate these units. There's no report kills or claims yet. Here's the staff alerts. This is a new feature within 2.0.13. No units have triggered staff alerts at the present time, as we are in the pre-game. The way staff alerts work is that whenever a unit has a critical condition, that can be low ammo, low readiness, low cohesion, separation from HQ, and others, they will appear here, so you can track which units need to be tended to. Finally, the West German player, or computer in this case, has 8,200 victory points, meaning that's how much we have to claim from them in order to force a victory. In point value, they outnumber us, however, we still need to secure about 50% or more for a contested battle. Here we're going to see Division Recon. A divisional recon unit is set up differently in the East Germans as opposed to the Soviets. In a East German divisional recon battalion, the division is up to 2 companies of units. Each are the same composition and the same size. The composition of each company is an HQ unit, a radar platoon, or artillery reconnaissance, as their radars are meant to find targets for artillery. There are 2, let's call them heavy recon teams, which are just typical motor rifle platoons. And finally, a long-distance scout team, which will consist of SPW 40P2s. If we look at these in the subunit inspector, you can see they're just a regular old BRDM2. Let's look at our T-72 M1s, which are our primary tank. As you can see, their armor protection is pretty much on the same level as a T-72A. But most striking between these tanks and their Soviet counterparts is inferior ammunition. These tanks are only loaded with freebie M12 rounds. These cannot do diddly to the frontal armor of a Leopard 2 at any distance. However, they still can defeat the side armor past 2 kilometers. Alternatively, we also can use HE frag ammunition, which surprisingly is still effective against Western tanks. But then again, not much of anything is going to resist a direct hit of 125 millimeters of HE frag. Let's figure out our game plan. So for 1400 points, we have Gerdau. 500 points here, crossing across that same stream. The whole stream here is named the Gerdau. The town of Eimke is both a crossing of the Gerdau as well as a point along the B-71 highway, which we are supposed to acquire. Then there's 2 more objectives, 300 points here at this intersection, and 500 points at, I believe that is Ostrel, or Orel. Finally, we see an exit VP marker here. If by some stroke of luck we defeat enemy forces in the sector, we can then exit through that marker to gain bonus points. Finally, the main objective is here, Fliegerhorst Fassberg. We see a grand total of about 6,000 points, meaning this is a vital objective, and typically if we're going to want to secure a victory, we should at least get close to or secure this airbase. So we have many different approaches we can take to this. We can try defending Gerdau and then pushing on, or we can just take the entirety of Panzerregiment Einsatzwanschicht, take it through the north, take it through the south, or just try and drive straight through. The latter is probably not recommended. Given that we do have a technical inferiority, it's probably best to just defend Gerdau and then figure out where we're going from there. We know for sure that contact is imminent as indicated in our intelligence report. We also know that the West German doctrine emphasizes heavy counterattacks and offense. So we're going to set up an ambush. These T-72s, we're going to hide them just behind the town of Linden. We can see significant bush forest cover. So, and as indicated by the objectives, there does not appear to be an enemy presence up here. However, they do have at least 1 or 2 units up here. As the box indicated earlier, this may simply be recon. We can expect them to come straight out of Imka, along the B71. And unless they set up any bridges here, it's safe to assume that they will simply be coming along this road towards Gerdau. First Battalion is in position. We'll decide to hold the line with the Motor Rifle Company. Or not. We're going to need them later. For when and if we make it to Fassberg, they're going to be our force that holds it against any future counterattacks. So we're going to want to keep them preserved up until we actually need them. Thank you, Goodle. So we'll set this company up in the rear. They can guard against any intrusion coming from the south, as well as if the enemy breaks through these first 2 tank companies. First company of 2nd Battalion will hold right here between these 2 town hexes. They should have a few fleeting shots through the buildings. This allows them to ambush enemy tank columns. And it's very important that they do, since the side armor is the only thing that our AP rounds can defeat. We're not going to occupy the objective itself, otherwise the AI will know something is up. We're going to keep our air defense right next to our HQs at all time, as enemy aircraft typically go for HQs, though again that won't be too much of a worry for us since there are no aircraft. Finally, we'll keep these 2 battalions in reserve. When we need them, we'll use them. But for a while, we're not going to need them. We'll notice that all of our units have 100% readiness, meaning we don't need to worry too much about resupplying any of them. The same is not true for Divisional Recon, however. Finally, we have regimental recon. And the East German Regimental Recon Company also organizes itself somewhat differently from their Soviet counterparts. There's a radar section, one motor rifle platoon, and two long-distance recon sections. You'll notice these are Speer Factoria, meaning these, if we look in the subunit inspector, if we can just find them. These are recon infantry. However, they are equipped with the AT-4, which gives them some anti-tank capability. The heat penetration is not much, and again, will likely not defeat the frontal armor of a Leopard 2, but it still can cause damage to optics or the gun, and of course, will still easily score a kill if it hits the side armor. We're going to keep our artillery forward, if not exposed. This is doctrinally supported, as it's advisable, because if we check the range on even the 2S3s, we notice we can only hit out to here. So if there are enemy air defenses in Fassberg, then we will not be able to hit them if the artillery is too far back. Let's look at our reinforcements. All these units arriving in 7 minutes and 19 minutes will not appear at all during the battle. This is 12 hours, which is the total amount in the mission. In 60 minutes, we're getting our 5th Regimental Artillery Group battery. And look at this, RM70s. I can't go into the subunit inspector on them right now, but these are multiple rocket launcher units that are roughly equivalent to a BM-21. The specialty between them and the BM-21 is that the truck has superior mobility and weight carrying, but there's also a ready rack of 40 additional rockets, meaning this RM70 can fire 2 barrages in rapid succession compared to a BM-21. Finally, our support is here. They will be gone in 344 minutes, which is almost 6 hours minus 15 minutes. So let's take in some considerations. Likely routes of enemy advance are again up the B-71, and they may attempt to push out of Dreiling and up north as well. We also cannot count out the possibility that they may attempt to get through this gap in the streams. And finally up north we have this railroad, which does count as a road on the map. To prove this, we can just look at the road codes, and we can see that the railway does count as a road. However, the bonus it provides to movement is half as much as an actual road provides. I seem to have lost everything. And this is also a recent feature that I believe was updated with brought in with the last update. Elevations are now color coded, so you can more easily see them if this is not enough. Finish reassembling the last of this battalion. and then figure out our defensive plan. So the way we're going to have this work is a defensive tank battalion around Gerdau itself, but north of Linden, another tank company will hide just behind this town in this thick bush, so that when the enemy tank column enters this area, they will both encounter the tank battalion here, and then get hit in the flank by this other company. We'll use this road to drive our recon deep into the enemy north. From there on out, we can figure out what the enemy will be doing in the future, and if that will be a viable route for a future advance. We'll get our radar section up here so they can observe the progress of the first enemy attack wave. We're giving them assault moves, as this tells them to move with maximum speed from the outset. It has a special property for recon as well, which means that the recon units will not automatically retreat upon sighting an enemy. This goes against preserving these units. However, what we want is the information. We have plenty of recon assets already. Finally, some of the Speche Factoria will set them up on the southern hill and tell them to dig in and hold there. If we check the range, unfortunately, it seems that the AT-4, which only has a 2-kilometer range, will not be able to strike the enemy here. So instead, we'll try and enter Ellendorf from the north. But we'll resupply right in this convenient gap. As they will be assaulting over quite some distance, which will heavily reduce their readiness, making them less effective at combat. Finally, we have no idea if there's anything up here, as the box did stretch up here. So we will send this motor rifle platoon to clear it out from potential enemy recon assets. And finally, the HQ will just resupply back here. Shirk, one hexagon is equal to 500 meters from the edge of the hex to the edge of the hex. So, I just showed that earlier with the recon asset. So from here to here, from the middle of this hex to the middle of this hex is 500 meters. 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometers, and 2 kilometers. Finally, we need to figure out what we're doing with divisional recon. I mostly want them to cover this objective here, as well as find out what's going on around here. There may not be a significant enemy presence here, as this VP marker is not claimed. There's also a significant patch of forest here, If I can get eyes on Fastbug early, that could both tip me off to the locations of potential enemy artillery, potential enemy air defense, as well as just figure out local defenses for a later incursion. We'll test that with the second company here. So first off, we're just going to rapidly assault this long distance recon to just get within eye shot of Fastberg. And as we can see, their path takes us clean through the forest. This journey of theirs is going to take about 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's a lot of time. But we've got 12 hours to get there with our main force, so that'll work. We're going to have these guys somewhat further north to clear out this area and see if there's anything here. Since they're assaulting over a long distance, they're going to be resupplied. Finally, the radar platoon, we'll just have them move deliberately at a slower rate, but they will be able to see more and provide more information with their ground search radar. The AHQ will also be tailing them similarly. Oh, we do not want that. And then the other company of the Divisional Recon, we'll take them into Dreilingen and see what we can find around here. We do not want that radar platoon in the lead. Actually, instead of the objective, we'll have them assault right to here where they can cover the objective with their, or actually, I did not look at these ones. They may not have ATGMs. No. Meaning they don't really have any significant anti-tank capability. Even the BMP-1Ps that are coming in don't have ATGM launchers on them. Okay. Instead, we're going to move deliberately, go through this forest, and then enter Dreilingen from the south. Actually, we'll task our motor rifle platoon to do that instead. And this long-range company will rapidly try and just get around this river bend here. These are amphibious units, but I don't think they can use them very well. Actually, since they're a recon unit, they should be able to. For some reason, amphibious capabilities are really finicky in this game. I'm not sure what causes that, but that's just the way it is. We'll get into Victimbeck. we take a look at their waypoints, it looks like there is a half-hour gap between the time they get into this hex and the time they get into this hex. Meaning it may just be faster anyway to just straight up go through Drangling. However, as we've seen many times before, sometimes getting there safer is just much better than getting there faster. I'll hold this company in reserve. Or that's platoon. Finally, the radar will overlook this road and this forest from here. The HQ will move into here. And finally, the battalion HQ will simply move to Südterberg and sit tight there. So if we look at our 2S3s, they have another option beyond just fire orders and smoke. They can also deploy mines and use improved conventional munitions. Since we have no idea where the enemy is, we're not going to use the ICMs. Instead, we're going to deploy mines along likely routes of advance. We don't want to mine the B71 as we're going to be using that road later. Instead, we're going to hit this gap. The rest of our artillery is on call. And I believe that's all our ground forces accounted for. Let's figure out our strike package. Right now, we have no idea where the enemy is, so we're not going to use any of our strike aircraft. What we are going to use, however, is our CEG assets. There is a potential enemy radar threat around Flashpoint. We know this because air bases are typically covered in significant air defenses. Before we start this mission, we're going to save the game. And restart the game. I'm just going to grab a drink real quick, and then we'll get this rolling. I'm back. Let's get started. Go to maximum zoom to see what's going on, and then hit start. It'll be 21 minutes of action until we can issue our orders. Well, our CEG goes in, but both of them are shot down. Soviet aircraft, everyone. However, that did tip us off. We know that there's an enemy air defense unit here. Mine barrage goes down, but they run out of ammo, so we cannot completely seal this gap. I'm just gonna turn that down. Luck has struck us. A couple of enemy units have wandered into that minefield. Enemy recon has met our own recon up north, and they took out one of our BRDMs along with their team. Enemy artillery is already hitting us. First things first, these guys are not likely to win against a screening pair of Lukes. These guys have 20mm cannons. We've only got 14.5. I'm going to reroute these guys to the south instead. And these guys I'm forcing into a defensive position. They will unload their team and get their ATGMs ready. Our two tank companies are in position, but we have no recon information until these BRMs clear this hill. Let's see what you can see. We'll do a line of sight check here. And unfortunately, they can't see the road here, but they can't see anything here. We're just gonna hastily move them up to this tippy-top hill. These guys won't make their crossing until 5:50, which is about 30 minutes from now. These guys are held in reserve, and these guys are on their way, and this company is on its way. The battalion HQ is resupplying as we speak. Now we're going to take our two S3s and do a range check. And they can hit that hex, so we are going to saturate that area with fire. 40 minutes, our rocket artillery will arrive. They will also hit any of those positions. Our lack of CEG aircraft now, however, significantly hurts our ability to detect future enemy air defenses. Meaning we need to find them with units on the ground. So if we don't want to lose our aircraft, we're going to be spending a significant time without air support. Get a shot off, but lose one of our, or it's our second recon team, so it's just the BRDMs now. Artillery's hitting that air defense position. We know what they just claimed there, but there's 3 secondary explosions, which is good. Second barrage hits. And another 2 units go down. Enemy artillery hits our last BRDM here. And they're dead. We found an enemy HQ at 1515 already. Which is right here. So we're going to see if our 2S1s can hit that. They can. They may have been spotted. Oh, there's the enemy incursion. So all our tanks are now going to assault through Linden and hit whatever's here in the side. Also looks like recon. I don't know why their Gepards are so far forward. That's, I'm going to chalk that up to another AI failure. We're going to get in real close range with the enemy since that's where our ammunition and accuracy will be most effective. We also want to sync this so that all of them arrive into the town and thus are revealed at the same time. Which it looks like they already will. Since there's a road going through here, the enemy will probably be able to spot us through the town here. Which is why I have them 1 hex back. So they will arrive slightly later. The Strelitans are good where they are. So we've got 5 enemy subunits destroyed here. That could be a battery of either 5 or 6. Whatever it is, it must have had long range to defeat our ARMs. Which could be Roland, it could be a Hawk, I'm not sure. If there's a 6th secondary explosion and nothing else, then it's likely safe to assume it's a Hawk battery. Either way, we're going to tell our artillery that is not scattering to hit that HQ. Since there is enemy artillery, we're going to only want to fire 1 barrage per turn to avoid counter battery fire. I'm going to hit that air defense position with 1 more neutralizing barrage. These enemy Gepards, it's safe to assume they will be destroyed by our tanks. So once they're gone, and once this potential long-range unit is gone, it should be relatively safe to begin airstrike. Turns out that was a poor position to put them in. You can see anything that crests these ridges, however, which is useful. We're just going to move them up so they can see the road. So, they will enter the town at 6:22, so that's 40 minutes until they make contact, and then they will take 8 minutes to get from this town to their final positions. That's a lot of time, however. A lot of time for the enemy gunners to take their shots. We're just going to have to go with whatever works. Let's get this started. And those martyrs. There's the Leopard 2s. Enemy artillery hits an old target. The enemy has also breached this minefield in the south. Our artillery is now hitting the enemy HQ. Five sub-units in total. And finally, we're hitting that air defense position again. That's one hit. There's more combat action going somewhere else. It's down here. Somehow these leopards can see, they're looking up the road and see our recon platoon here. I've got to tell them to back off. That's our first T-72 lost. They've already got Milan set up in the town. Does the enemy anticipate us? They may be going after these recon here. Whatever the case, they've turned around. That's not good, because they can now see this tank company. They're going to get picked apart. So we've already lost 4 tanks. There's an enemy rifle platoon in here, and one coming right up this road. It's possible that the enemy tanks may entirely divert themselves north. This, all these BMPs are already gone. However, the infantry are left. And these BRDMs should be able to avoid detection. I'm not sure about this motor rifle platoon, however. Another position for the MHQ. Enemy infantry is retreating, but they're not going to make it. Enemy leopards see our BMPs through the town again, and they're just all gone. That's a whole tank company. Enemy artillery is hitting our Duggan tanks. But no damage. Our RM-70s are here. That is excellent. We got their first target already. We're going to hit these tanks. Let's just blitz the whole area. We're going to anticipate the enemy movement into this, into these hexes. The saturation area will either hit them as they're here, or anticipate that they're moving into these hexes. Whatever's going on, they're going to get hit. Saturation fire is different from a normal barrage, as when it's fired, it covers not only the one hex here, but all hexes next to it. This will also spend all the ammo of the battery. These tanks are not going to break until a few more minutes. We're going to tell the HQ here to sit tight, because they will wander into the field of view. We do not want our HQ getting hit by enemy tanks, obviously. And as we believe local enemy air defenses have been hurt here significantly, we're going to call in Geisel and Schwert. These are low-level flying planes, so they should be okay against long-range enemy air defenses. But what we really wanted was those Gepards gone, because that defeats any close-in defense that they could have. This recon section has made it, and this platoon is busy clearing out here. We're gonna try and find where that section of looks went. We're going to hit the enemy HQ again. Whatever we can do to reduce or eliminate enemy command and control will go a long way. Finally, for our 2S3s. We're going to use, no, we're just going to tell them to join in on the attack on the HQ. We're going to want all of that gone. Finally, we're going to tell these beard dams to sit here. If they get up on the sill, the leopards will see and kill them. Alright. Yep, the CEG mission did go well. About as well as CEG usually manages. Now they can see these guys for the town. Ouch. There goes our barrage. No kills. But now our artillery is hammering this HQ position. There's the enemy battalion HQ. We're going to want to take that out. These looks have spooked our recon unit here and also revealed them to the enemy tanks. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good now that recon's going to get picked apart. Enemy counter batteries hitting our positions, but we've scooted out. How's enough to spook this unit, though. And, oh, look at that. There's enemy tanks coming through here. So although we're going to lose this radar platoon, they did serve their purpose. So you remember that. That's Hex 3517. And, oh, I didn't notice that. The rain came in. So now our airstrike isn't going anywhere. And then it comes in today, just a few minutes after. So yeah, the rain is a troll. It will always come in at the last minute and then disappear right after. I'm going to order that airstrike again, but this time we're hitting these HQ units. The enemies realized that we're not going to let go of Gerdau. Finally, this ambush failed. The enemy has realized what's going on. We're just gonna try to desperately get this recon out of sight. But it's going to take them 20 minutes just to move even one hex. They're probably going to die. And now enemy tanks are coming for Sudberg. We do remember this hex. We're going to drop cluster munitions on it. 2 barrages to make sure that we kill whatever's going in there. They may either turn north towards Gerdau, at which point they will be engaged by that tank company, or they'll go south to Sudberg. Overall, this is not going very well. It looks like there's not much of anything in this forest here, meaning going right through the south may be our best option. However, this tank company will get here before our main force does, meaning we need to fight them out before we can pressure along the south. Overall, I just don't have much information. I, well, need more information. We'll order this radar platoon to move forward. So, why can an enemy tank shoot through an urban hex? Well, they shouldn't be able to, but thermal optics, yeah. I'm really at a loss for what to do right now. Why did you scoot north? Oh, looks like the enemy is trying to advance along there. These leopards are just gonna eat these civvies. Oh, there we go. That's our first leopard kill. Here come the ICMs. That's one, two. Only two. But we had at least 2 platoons there. That's gonna be about 8 of them to kill. That's good artillery. Oh, they're at very close range now and hitting their flanks, meaning those leopards are dead. This is a 2-kilometer range engagement, meaning the leopards have a great superiority to our own here. These T-72s are not going to perform well. If we could just drive into this ambush here, that would be great. Here comes our first airstrike. No air defenses. Schwert opens up with rocket pods and gravity bombs. But they only claim 1 leopard. Geisel comes in with his RBK 500s. Enemy battalion HQ destroyed. They also reveal the presence of enemy anti-tank units here. As this tank company is falling back. Weird. We're gonna walk these guys around. They've lost all their vehicles, so they're on leg. We're just gonna go up into this road and see what's behind Dreilingen. I want to know for sure if there's enemy air defenses there at all. Finally, we're gonna send a Schwert against that enemy tank company that's trying to cross the river. Guys will also go there. 2 S3s are going to hit this advanced tank company as they roll into the town. And all 3 2S1 batteries are going to hammer those 2 tank platoons. I can't retreat these tanks. If I try, we'll just get slaughtered. These ones are both out of sight, though. I'm going to pull them north and tell them to resupply so they can recover ammunition and readiness. So this tank company has claimed some kills, which is good, but they are heavily wounded. There's only about 2 serviceable tanks. 4 of them have brewed up, and another 4 have simply been tracked. Those could be mobility kills, optics, firepower, whatever. However, these guys may just be dead meat. No, these tanks are resupplying. That is not good. I can't back them out either. They won't be resupplying for another half an hour or 2. I've gotta just tell them to hold on with whatever they got. If they could screen, that'd probably be better. Meaning stopping this tank platoon is going to come down to these 2 companies. They've got almost full readiness and they're dug in. They should be able to inflict some casualties. Finally, our rocket artillery is ready to go. We're going to hit these 2 tank companies here. Full barrage. All 3 barrages are going down. They are not on the map, so we don't need to worry about enemy counter battery, as it's on a random chance and not based on when you fire. Last of our recon goes down there, so that won't be corrected fire. And enemy artillery is hitting that tank company I'm trying to evacuate. But they don't suffer any losses, fortunately. Ooh, that's nice. That's a long-range kill made the side. Motor rifle platoon has found those Lukes. They're dead. 2S3 fire is coming down hard on those Leopards now. And the 2S1s are opening up on those 2 tank platoons. .122 fire is not very effective against tanks. They may not even be there. Rocket artillery is going down now. We claim 1, just 1 tank. The rain is coming again, meaning that's going to deny our airstrike again. Enemy anti-tank assets just came in. It's a Jaguar 1, and this tank section is dead. Enemy counter battery fire has found our 2S3s. That's not good. Fortunately, we did not suffer too much losses, and the troll rain hits us again. Nothing. Jaguar 1 just claims their last C-72 there. This salvo advance appears to be going unabated. Meaning we are going to want to strike for that forest in the future. But first, this tank company here needs to be cleared out, and this assault needs to be stopped dead in its tracks. We have 10 minutes for these guys to resupply. I'm going to tell these guys to resupply. This platoon, I'm going to just move them quickly across the road here. And then we're going to hit Banov. I could claim all these VPs here if I just take the main force and move it onto these instead. That's looking more attractive option because there's a significant force blocking me from going south here. But if I attack from the north, there doesn't appear to be anything in the way. 3 hours in, I will make that decision. I just need more information. Do S1s hit these leopards again? 2S3s hit this HQ. And this last battery, I'm just gonna make a wild guess. So, the 1st Battalion has been reduced to just 1 understrength company and the Strela 10 platoon. I'm just going to keep them with the main force to screen ahead. In fact, I will have them join the recon. They'll form my new forward security element. In the meantime, I'm going to get these guys ready to move north. The bigger worry is that once these leopards enter this town hex, they're going to see all the artillery. I can't smoke them off either, since, well, there's no thermally opaque smoke in FCRS. So smoke is pretty much useless for the Warsaw Pact. Since it's raining right now, we can't order any airstrikes. I'm gonna save the game and restart it, as the lag should kick in around 2 hours. That artillery should slow them down. Damn it. So we only lost one BMP from that. Our two tank companies here are engaging these leopards, and these guys just got kicked out right before they could resupply. That's really sucking. They're at close range now and getting hit on the flanks. These leopards are vulnerable. That's how fucking... It's a platoon wipe. And again, another platoon is wiped out at close range. It's a successful defense. However, now we've got these anti-tank assets moving north, and this tank company's defenseless. That's really bad. They're going to be able to hit these guys too. What do these guys do? They better hit them. There's that enemy tank company I saw earlier. They're hitting our artillery. Why are you on the hill? Damn it. These guys got out, that's good. They wandered right into the guns of my waiting T-72s. That's a platoon wipe. Recon jeeps. Just sighted enemy Panzer Grenadiers moving in. That's this radar platoon that just spotted them coming in. Meaning, they're gonna have quite a stranglehold on Amka. Okay, I don't care what else is going on right now. I need my rocket artillery to just slam that hex. Everything that's in that town needs to die. Geisel and Schvedt are going to be coming in to support this tank company, provided that the weather stays good. Whatever's going on, I want to hit these Panzer Grenadiers before I can engage them. No information what's here in Drellingen. These guys are ready to go. You're going to be hunting that HQ. These guys are almost at Fassberg. This radar platoon. Move them up here. These guys should prepare. Got to move this HQ. Alright, let's keep fighting this out. They've got Overwatch fire on my T-72s. I want them dead right now. The tank company is responding. That's 2 kills. 3. Only 3 kills. I need that last one dead. There we go. Ismar's on the move, but I don't think they're going to escape my artillery. Looks like we just hit recon there, unfortunately. And now these leopards are withdrawing. That's unfortunate. Artillery is absolutely going to hammer this platoon here. You might be able to hit them before they even get engaged. That artillery is poorly plotted. There's still 1 Jaguar platoon left, but the tank company in the north is hitting them right now. And they retaliate. That's the anti-tank company wiped out. I've counted 12 kills. And we slap that one leopard in the ass. Airstrike comes down, but there's Gepards right there. Schwert loses both its aircraft. And now Geisel also loses both its aircraft. Oh, no, just one. Oh, there's a whole company there. Looks like that was the company HQ. But now, Sudeberg, I'm going to lose that for sure. I've just got to get this HQ out of here. They're not going to resist an attack by a tank company. I'm just going to have to give up that hex. There's no way I'm going to hold that. However, we've lost most of our air support already. I've already forgotten where those Gepards were. That pretty much blocks us from using air support throughout the rest of the game. Okay, we're just gonna try and hold the north. We're just gonna have to completely give up the south. This remainder is ready. We're just gonna screen all the way to Bromvastel and see what's there. And that's gonna take them 2 hours. These guys don't seem to have found anything in the north, and the main enemy combat power is concentrated here as well, meaning we should be okay to take these hexes. Just to get these guys into a better position so we can see what's going on Amka. Ellendorf looks like a good place for an AT4 position. Rocket Arty will be ready by the next turn. We're just gonna... There's nothing I can do about the tank company. Whatever's going on, these guys all need to resupply. They spent most of their ammo in that defense, and I don't think there's anything else coming here. We're just going to focus on hammering this town. Do you want to go for Imka or the intersection Uro? We got 1,300 points here and just 900 here. So if I can take these 3 hexes. However, I don't want to move my HQ from here because then I also have to move my artillery. Let's see their command range. Okay, they should be able to maintain command from here. Okay, that's more than good enough. Okay, so our T-72s, we're gonna go for the Imka take. In order to do that, we're gonna need to use cover to hit the town, massive artillery bombardment, and combined arms team. We'll move into this staging area here and order them all to resupply. This pit provides a good place to launch mortars from, because the only thing that can see them would have to be here. And finally, these man pads have no real purpose aside from just additional recon, so we'll send them ahead. I actually want to send them to that VP. Artillery has their orders. Our air support is down for the count. Okay, let's see what goes on. And the enemy tank company has changed its mind again. What the heck? No, it looks like that unit lost all of its transports. Yeah, the enemy tank company is already back. They caught us resupplying too. But we're shooting back, and that's one leopard defeated. And they just shot in the tracks. Yeah. He's just gonna hold position for now. By the time these tanks are in position. Something sees this tank company, which I'm not comfortable with at all. I'm just gonna have to move them into position. My artillery is also gonna have to support them in place of aircraft, which I don't have. But that was an example of the enemy AI changing its mind and making decisions on the fly, meaning that HQ is still giving a lot of orders. They're going to be taken out. Our rocket artillery is also ready again. We're just going to hit this hex twice with the rocket artillery. Or no. Look at that. Okay. So these guys can see... Oh, look at that. Enemy rocket artillery. Hey, forget the tanks. That's a new priority. Wrong battery. There's a tank battalion HQ here, and an enemy Panzer Grenadier unit here. I don't think I'm gonna go for Fastburg. I'm not gonna make it. That's pretty much ceding 6,000 points to the enemy. But if there's one thing I know, I want that artillery dead. This platoon's ready. Let's see what you can see. And you too. These guys are in position, and they found nothing. Let's see. We've got at least 185 for each of these BMP-1Ps. Alright, good luck to this tank company. I don't want to call in any aircraft, because we still have no idea where that Gepard is. Oh, that's a recon dying. Still, they've done their job. One Leopard is destroyed in close range. Another's destroyed. And a third. Fourth and fifth. Look at that. That's what the heck is that? Oh, those are 20mm aircraft guns. Let's see how they do against BMP-1. It's facing their side armor though, so yeah, they're gonna kill these BMPs. Finally, our rocket artillery is hitting the enemy rocket artillery. Alright, they were there. That's 4 kills. That's the whole battery. Awesome. Oh, they got another one. I don't know what saw that recon, but they're dead. Now enemy artillery is hitting these guys. They're dead. Yikes. And this tank company is getting hit by artillery as well, but no losses. So the main force is well on its way. Artillery has no new targets. Well, except for the HQ, which is always there. So we're just going to hit that. I think this is the last barrage order I'm going to give them all. So just going to just try and swim across. I don't want that. I'm going to hit that HQ, and these 2S1s are going to hit these Panzer Grenadiers one more time. Then I'm going to move them up north along the HQ. I just want this HQ moved up so they can support, they can still command these battalions. It appears that Gerdau is secured, So we're just gonna move the Shilkas onto this hex to claim that VP. The enemy tank company here was defeated by this company. Let's see how many kills he got. They've destroyed 8 tanks and lost 5 of their own. That's pretty good for a T-72. I'm not sure if I want to keep these guys dug in. Okay, yeah, they need to be resupplied. I'm going to move the recon HQ up here so they can support them. I don't have anything, there's no recon left down here, so I don't want to push out with this company either. You know what, I'll just have these guys take their place. And then I want these guys just screening into Bodenstedt. Just to see. I don't know what you intend to accomplish by doing that. I'm up there in preparation. And this will be the last turn resolution we make before I restart the game again and take a short break. Oh, there's the enemy artillery. Good work. Okay, I gotta reorder these guys to get onto that hex. Guten Arbeit, meine. We've got heavy rain now. Our BRMs are opening up on those M109s, as are the BMPs. Just pursue them, chase them down. But looks like they're just gonna get away. And the other battery's now firing on the BRMs. Wow, wipe them all out. The main force is now entering its staging area right now. Okay, these BRMs just need to hit these artillery. I'm going to tell them to keep moving into this artillery and make that a mounted attack. So I just need them constantly chasing this artillery. Of course, they're all going to die, but we'll have the rocket artillery open up on them. They'll likely go this way. Let's see. Yep. Now I'm gonna order our 2 S1s to just go northwest. Once the artillery is in position, I will order the attack on Imka. Okay, so we're going to save the game here and take a short break. And I'll see you guys later.